Motion elements. Motion elements. Motion elements.
Thank you so much, Phindile, for coming. Like really, we thank you. We appreciate it for honoring our invite. Thanks very much for that. So the introductions, I think they've already told you their names. Yeah, so Konje Nomusa is new with us, so it's her first meeting, and yeah, we welcome you. And then Lego also new here. We welcome you. So we're going to start with the purpose of the meeting, and actually, they said I must come up say why I actually chose the book, right? Honestly, I feel like your cover is eye-catching. It's like, I want to read this. I want to know what it is all about, you know. It got me curious as to, I wonder what she's saying about yet you married him. Because I believe we are all adults in a sense that we've been through things. We have experiences with men. So
Can I ask before we go on, who's married? Sorry for interrupting. Okay.
even the cameraman. I'm the host. So the reason, one of the reasons why I took the book, you understand? So I was relating a lot more with the book. Yes. I wanted to understand what
Who's
it is
getting
all
married?
about. Oh, she's married.
Okay, she's married. Okay, celebration.
Yes, my celebration was postponed because of
COVID.
COVID.
Yeah.
But no, you
That's
married.
why I'm totally
I don't think you introduced the ladies on Zoom.
Make it physically with us. And we have a few apologies, ne?
There's
I
one
think-
on the way that she's late.
Oh,
And
okay.
I'm
Is it? Dipuo Gomolemo, they actually sent an apology and Lily cancelled.
Yeah.
You're ticking boxes, okay, I've gotten my education, I've bought my first car, I've done this, I've done that, I've done that. Now it's actually time to settle down. And then, I got married at the age of 29. And at that time, I met this charming gentleman. This gentleman, I met him, and when they say you look at a person from the outside, you don't really look at what, because their background, what it is they're actually all about, their social circles and all of that. I do this for a living. You're like, okay, we've got ambitious age, we've got similar dreams, type of a thing. And he's like, I want to marry you. And you're like, oh, let's get married,
Yeah.
So we got married in 2012. Yeah, 2012 we got married. 6 months, and 6 months within the marriage, but it was that thing, even prior to us getting married, there were a lot of issues. But I got into it thinking, he'll change, or I'll change him. When you get into that, and then you get into this thing, and then actually when you get married, it even gets worse. The person is like, also type of thing. So I'll just continue that way. So 6 months within the marriage, I was like, I need an answer, because oftentimes, especially on our side, we also place this picture as one of our friends, or our marriages are perfect, and all of that. And now I can't now go to Ruth, it's bad, because Ruth is showing off happily married, right? And as well happen, you can't also go to mama, because how you go mama type of a thing. Next time they won't take it seriously. So obviously it was a whole lot of things that I can't speak to anybody, and as well I think I also, but it's something that I grew up with, where I always wanted to live this kind of like perfect life, right? And it then keeps you as well from also trying to portray that life that is actually non-existent, you know? I mean, when I got married, I lived in Harties, lived in a beautiful home, drove a beautiful car, you know, so ha Paballo Seipei, this girl has got it all together, you know. So if Paballo sees me as this girl has got it all together, how do I now break down to Paballo and say it's not like that? It's not what you see, you know. So then I thought, let me write a book, you know. But it wasn't even let me write a book. It was like, let me do some writing type of a thing, you know. I then decided to do some writing. So a lot of the first chapter, when you look at it, it's people always ask me, where's your husband in the book, ne? And I'm like, my husband is in a lot of chapters, but because he's the father of my children, I can't exactly give too much detail about him. This is exactly who he is. You know, I have to be sensitive towards that. And even with all my talks, I never badmouth him or get fully into the details of what he actually did within the marriage. And that's just out of respect for him and out of respect for my children as well. So the first chapter, it's when I started. It's a lot about me. That's as far as I go. Okay, the first chapter is a lot about me, but then he's in a lot of chapters, but I just can't say which chapters. Yes. And then yeah, so I started jotting down, and then as I was writing, I just thought to myself that, you know what, so many women are going through marital issues, you know, and then you even think back to maybe Musadi wa Malome or in, and I was like, I want to have conversations with other women, you know. I remember one of the chapters is actually based on a lady, one traffic cop, but obviously I'm not saying it. But she's in, but and then she like speed at that time, you know, and I was a mess, like I was a serious mess. I want to like at the stop sign, you know. And I just thought, she's a stranger. She was friendly actually, and then I just started talking to her. I don't know when I said next, and then she just dished out. So one of the stories is actually about her. Yeah. So I started having conversations, but I decided to have conversations with women I was close to, because imagine I'm close to you and then you're like, oh, this is emotion. So I tried to stay away from things like that, whereas I would just have general conversations with women. I did a lot of research as well, psychological and all of that, to actually put in the book. And I just thought, you know what, let me write a book that's not a novel or anything like that, but that just describes different characters of men. That's why I wrote about the 22 characters of men in the book. And I know sometimes when I visit book clubs or I'm talking, they're like, why someone like a muruti or a tangbasari, you know, like, if that's the case, I could have written a book from the floor to the roof type of a thing, but I just had to like put it together and write on things that I somehow had some knowledge or some experience or some interaction with the person, and then I wrote it down. So, yeah,
Right.
that's how the book came out. It took me 6 years to write the book.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's not 6 years because I was like, oh, I can't write. You know, when you're married, there's like bad times and then there's like good times. Good times, I think God again. Put it aside, you know. And then sometimes it's like so bad you can't even write at all. And then sometimes it's like, you know what, let me get deep into my feelings, deep into my thoughts, deep into the conversations that I had, and actually just write. So that's why it took me that long to finish it. I finished that book in 2018, and I finished it a month just before I filed for divorce.
So when you wrote it, you were not writing, was it sort of like a journal?
No, even at the
Or were you
beginning,
writing
it was a
book?
journal. And then as time went on, then I was like, this has to come out.
What I found about the book was it doesn't only have an insight for only married people, but also in the dating stage. So, okay, here's a person also. This is what you can expect, and are you fully aware or sharp or so you get to see, even if you don't get to the signs yet, but you already see, okay, no man, Tomo Mpumalanga and he's been there all his life. So here are the signs I'm expecting. Am I going to be fine with that? If it happens, when it plays out like this, what am I going to do? So you take control before it even happens. So I feel like the book also indicated that to people before they even get married, even in their dating stage. Okay, you can be the other woman in the first chapter, the noisy baby mama that was drama. What are you doing? Why are you doing that? Sort yourself out. You know, you get to find yourself. Okay, what is your problem? Have you healed, or do you want the person back? And you, before you get to another relationship, or why are you messing that guy's relationship, or why is he still coming back to you, and then you're still making the other person suffer for that? Because as women, we shouldn't do that. So yeah.
So yeah, I'm glad you're saying that, because I remember a lot of people said this should actually have something that says on the cover, a guide for every woman type of a thing.
An eye-opener.
Yes, because of the different characters and what it is that one would expect. Remember, so I totally agree with you that.
So it also shows
it's
you
also
how
not
when I
for
decide
women.
dear more. You know, don't keep quiet. Deal with it as and when, and then when it happens, you know, you've done everything in your power. And like you just kept quiet and you saw the signs and you're like, no, let's play the happy family because the society, because of everyone else. No, deal with your person. No, this match is 5,000 and you know that's not 5,000. Deal with it then. And then about 5,000 and then you are 50,000 and then you are fine. No, address it there. Address how your partner speaks to you before they even marry you, because I feel dating is a foundation. You lay in your marriage is not gonna make your man perfect, or it's a foundation that you lay during your dating. It's like dating now before God, before the law, but it's the same things he will be doing, but even more intense. Because I always go with the saying that men are like tiles. If you lay it right, you will step on it the rest of your life. So if you're gonna lay it scheme, but if you're gonna lay it right, and when you put your foot down, it will be down. You know, it doesn't wait for you to be married or before the night of Mlobola or anything. But if you laid it right when you guys were dating, before the kids came, when you guys decided, oh guys, okay, we're gonna do this. But remember, even if you are married, remember that we are still dating. You will do the dates, you will remember, you will acknowledge me as your girlfriend and as your wife, so that you don't have girlfriends, you know. So yeah.
I got a lot of examples. I saw my ex in a lot of these chapters also. And I realized, I actually was grateful because I realized I was engaged before I'm married now. And I realized that I actually almost married some of the people in this chapter. Like, I noticed it at that point.
Find that one guy that you nearly got married to, he's probably like 5 people
Exactly.
in that one
Yes,
person.
you know. And when I made that decision, at that time, I wasn't aware, obviously, because I hadn't read your book. But now that I've read your book, I'm like, wow, I dodged a bullet. Like, I really dodged a bullet. I would have given it like, you know. So yeah, but I thoroughly enjoyed the book.
And it's a quick read.
It
Very.
is.
The chapters are very short and they allow you to finish. Like you like, okay, let me just push the chapter and then get like, okay, last on the next chapter. Because the chapters are very short and precise and they get to the point.
I married Jimmy comes to go back. I married Wannabe. I married a whole lot of things, you know, like I married Tanaking, that chapter of whether baby mama's baby, or if you rather go for a mama's baby or not, one that does not have a relationship with the family. I was on the side, not even having a relationship with the family. So I relate to a whole lot of chapters in here. But the difference with me is I didn't see the sign. Okay, I saw the sign of family and stuff. That was the only sign I saw. I guess I was too quick to getting married.
How long did you guys take?
A year. Oh, yeah. We got married within a year.
Within a year or after you?
Within a year. like 6 months into the relationship, my ex was going to propose, and as you said, we get to an age where you just wanna settle down, you wanna be married. I mean, now we're not been there, done that, you know, yeah. So it was one of those things. Yeah, I won't say, I won't lie. It was, everything was good, everything was perfect. So night was not a matter of yet you married him and you saw the signs. I saw the signs into the marriage. And I must say, I'm proud of myself to actually say, nah,
Pull out.
nah,
This is not for you.
How long are you
nah.
married for?
It lasted as good as 2 years. 2 years. We get along. He's the father of my son, and everything is fine. You
Yeah,
know.
you're a strong
Yeah.
woman because you know kind of like guys. Like I always tell people, imagine I saw that this was not gonna work in 6 months, but I think for 6 years.
What you understand?
And keep the whole, I'm going to fight for this marriage to work, And yes, one will say, oh no, but you learned something, but I knew I could have left earlier. You know what I mean? But because did you know all those things? And then you stay. So, I have a lot of respect for women who say, not in 6 months, I just thought this is not going in. I left.
Yeah, no, for me it was good as 2 years. I couldn't waste any more time. Yeah, so
Do you have children?
I do.
Oh.
Yes, I do. So yeah, it was, I relate to a whole lot of chapters, even though some it's not personal or
Yes, of
me
course.
specifically.
You know somebody.
I know
You know,
somebody.
yeah.
I can tell you, oh, this chapter is talking about so and so. This chapter is talking about so and so. So my overall review about the book is that you actually specifically talking about that particular one. I was saying to my sister when I was talking to her, I said, people want it to be general. It's not going to be. Men are different. So out of 5 men that are here, you're actually talking about this specific one in this certain chapter, and then in another chapter you're talking about this specific one, and that's how I understood the book, and that's how I actually read the book, and that's how I fell in love with the book. Maybe because I chose it, I personally 100% fell in love with it, but it has nothing to do with that, because also for me it comes from experience. You understand? It comes from experience. It comes from
I honestly also tried my best not to make it a man bashing book.
Yeah,
because oftentimes people have an title, especially men, they shy away from the book because they think I'm going to be man bashing. I mean, I remember when there was an interview I did at Power FM about the book, and Power FM, apparently the majority of their listeners, they are male, right?
Yeah.
So the moment I got onto the show, men's not a colleague, but they have not read the book.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but they called automatically from reading the title thinking that I'm a bitter divorced woman who's bashing men. And luckily for me, I had the lady who was interviewing me, she had read the book, and she's got a very strong personality. So she actually was able to manage that, because I got there thinking that I'm probably going to get female listeners, like I always do, like Metro with female listeners and all, and other stations I did. But Power, I got, guys, I was attacked. But when you're being attacked by people who have not read what is the content.
Me personally, I don't know. I hope this does not sound bad. You're in totally nyalo this book. For me, I feel like, hi guys, because I have experienced guys who are like this, and I don't know how I'm going to react when I see the signs. Am I gonna stay? Or am I gonna be like, my one? So I don't know, for a person who desires marriage, how do I actually now take all the advice that is in the book and run with it? That's my only.
So a lot of women have said that to me, especially on Facebook, that after they read like 2 chapters, they put the book aside and don't read further.
Hello?
Those who have not been married yet, because they feel like
Hello?
it's turning them off marriage, right?
And
What I always say is that you can get married to Jim comes to Joe, right? And then your relationship works perfectly. And that's why you even find a woman, and they stay in that marriage. You can't judge them, because it just says, this is what you are facing. I'm reading a book, The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, right? I love that. So what he says is that oftentimes we get in what we call unfulfilling relationships, right? And you get into this unfulfilling relationship because, not because you're a bad person or he's a bad person, it's your lack of being able to accept certain things. Sometimes you should be able to accept certain faults about yourself or the person and make peace with them. And in that way, you're allowing love for yourself and for that person. So even in those chapters, you need to know, I can accept this. I can make peace with it, and I can actually move on with this person and have actually a proper marriage with all these faults. Because I don't know faults for a relationship.
That perspective, I was struggling a bit. I was like, yo, I feel like like, oh no, my darling, you married him. I felt like, yeah, you know, he bought his shoe, guy, but yet you married him. I was like, you know, Phindile Yende, I feel like she's shouting at me.
Apparently, I'm getting personal. I'm a bit too personal.
Yes, no, it felt very personal, especially if unali experience or you know of someone who's been through that. So it's a reminder of I
that you
really
don't
want
want to be
this.
reminded of. Of things that you know but you don't want to know.
Yeah, it's like no, I know, we know all of these guys, ne? And then if I'm with a Jimmy, I'm thinking, Jimmy one day now. Jimmy he enters the door now. I'm getting all personal because now Phindile is shouting at me. You married that guy. You know? So it felt personal, but because she gave me that perspective, no, the author's just saying there are these different men. And when, if you stay with that man, then you need to teach him how to treat you or whatever. Because you can have Jimmy. Jimmy comes, he has that face, and then it fades.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And then Oshap, right?
Or Jimmy doesn't become Jimmy to you.
Hey, what? Or maybe he divorced, but he's very nice to you. He has learned from his mistakes, and now he's correcting them in this relationship. Wow. So it's not all bad, but Rona, we read it in that all these bad men, but that's not the case. You know, there's a good and a bad side to a person.
You know, I always say as well that people should also try to apply themselves to it. If you see a certain behavior, shouldn't you now say, how do I then change this? Try to work with this type of person and try to people guide it in a certain way, because as women we've got a lot of influence that we're not aware of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, the rich kid, for instance, the rich kid, I get a rich kid when you're reckless. But if you see those things, reckless, this is how I can actually mold you to be this kind of person. It is possible. You know what I mean? Even when I talk about the abusive husband, guys, eventually they change.
Yes.
You know that. Right?
No, I'm saying I know a few.
Yes. So that's what I'm saying. It's things that you should take from that book and then say, this is what I'm dealing with. Now, how do I change this? Not necessarily I'm leaving this guy.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Yes, there are some toxic people where it's like, girl, now you have to study type of a thing, you know? But honestly, I believe there are people by the whole where you can say, this is what I'm dealing with, I need to change it. That's why even in whenever I do my talks, I always say, I wish men could read this book. You know, because when they read it, he's able to identify
where am I?
This is me.
And what
How
must
must I
do
change? And how am I affecting you?
My partner.
Yes. As well. So yeah, it's one of those things.
Okay, so what's that? What did you
Yeah, for me, this book, because like when I had to marry him, and then what came into my mind in Ilokore, sometimes we see the sense, Momoton, but that Tabula, Moene, I get to Moene. And but motivated ka gore like sisters ka bua kana gore if you know you are in a relationship and then you just feel gore you are not okay with something, it's either watswa or o bolella motho nna le ene fela gore this is not going to work between nna le ene. If you know gore go tlo kgona go change behavior ya gore whatever le tsona go getsa although ina gore go nna difficult ga ngata mo bathong ba bontate sometimes gore bona o ba bontsha di-mistakes tsa bona o ka twa ba nyatsa ba tsaya gore ba win ke ga ke tlo utlwa ka mosadi gore a bolelle gore ke tse tse ntseng.
The baby mama drama, I know that the guy goes to visit his children with the previous lady. I do say that. And then what I do say in the chapter is not that I'm putting blame on the woman who can't have children.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that she needs to be careful of the visits to the woman with the children. So I'm coming at a perspective that as women we also need to, I'm not saying mama, but there needs to be some civil relationship with the baby mama with the baby mama in order to prevent such things. So I'm basically saying prepare yourself that's what I'm basically saying, but not saying it's your fault, you didn't give her children, and now she's going to see baby mama. And I'm just saying, it's the reality of things. And I know I had a friend, like the girl owner and she became too comfortable with the guy always going to see the children. And then what happened? The guy went back to
Obviously, what happens? Somebody took.
And sometimes the other woman. Obviously, I'm saying it's fine to say men are weak. But there are women that play on that know that, and that know how to press out. I mean, how you know their buttons, you know, and you have children, right? So, I mean, let's say, for example, it's a one-bedroom house. How about it? What you know, it's that time like in that person's mind. You are putting a burden on it's controllable, but it's not controllable at the same time. You know, so there are women that play on that, you know, so yeah.
Okay.
Question and answer.
I think we did question as well.
Yeah. But if you have
questions, yes.
You have questions?
Yeah.
Yes, you can go.
My question is, for you, like, did your partner try as much as you were trying to make, like, did you have the same initiative and intention with the marriage? So you didn't leave him because of these characters. You left him for the effort that he's not putting into to better himself and benefit the relationship.
I left my partner for disrespect. Yeah. You know, people always say, okay, I'll tell you, my husband was a serial cheater, right? So, people always say to me, but men cheat, right? I know that, right? But the moment you disrespect me, I'm nothing to you. You know what I mean? So, I left because of disrespect. The moment a person disrespects you, you know what I mean? So I just felt like, you know, guys, and I won't know about it, or maybe somebody but the moment now it comes into my home,
It's a problem.
it's a problem. The moment now when your girlfriends have Amboni as anything, it's now a problem. So I left out of disrespect because of disrespect, and for me as well, I also left for myself, you know, because at some point I remember but then but yet but I'm depressed, so I'm not able to be a mother to them. So when you are depressed, you don't see anything else. You don't even see your children. You know, you are in the house like who's supposed to mother my children when I'm depressed? So I had to also leave for myself so that I can be a mother to my children. So like your friend, how cousin she's probably going through these things. When she's going through these things, do you think she's able to give herself to her children? No, you can't give yourself to your children. So for me, it was that thing. I thought, I need to now look out for myself. The moment my cup is full, I'll be able to be a mother to my children. But at this current moment, I can't be a mother to my children, and I am being disrespected. So, so what's the point?
And also the type of men they're gonna be.
Exactly.
Because with you not being there,
and their father is also not there.
and they're not there, they are probably prone to be any of or all of these characters.
Yes.
And it's not how mama can't you know you experiencing this locked up in a bedroom where you could change the situation to better their relationship in the future. Okay, this is how you're gonna do, like this is how a relationship looks like, you know.
And
so they also learn from this. You don't have to be in a relationship if it doesn't serve you, but also take up the responsibility and do right as a man in the relationship type of thing. And then my next question is, are you gonna have a follow-up on this book? Because this book like tells us, okay, here are the signs, guys, be wary of this. But we don't have a, guys, when this happens, here are the options, do this, how to attack this. So like, for example, I'm with my partner doesn't have kids outside, well, the ones that I don't know of. That's why you have ANCs. So, but I don't want to find myself in the baby mama drama in 10 years time, whereas now, and I'm like, and then, for example, God forbid he loses his job, and then my salary gets garnished because of his fuck ups or something, you know, excuse my language. But what do you do? Do you leave? Do you, okay, those are the things you are wary of. Okay, let's say you get in these situations after, you know, you spot these signs 10 years later, 20 years later. What do you do then? How do you attack these challenges in the marriage? Because it might be nice and rosy now, but everything has its time, you know. So what do you do then?
I don't think I would ever write a book like that, and I'll tell you why. I'm writing a book, but I'll wait kind of with that. The angle I'm taking with the current is different. Yeah, I don't believe in telling people on how to. I'm coroning you guys. I don't believe in telling people, this is how you must do in a situation. It's like, Mommy here, you can't do that. You can't tell a person for you. You get to this point to leave a person. And the reason I say that is that each and every human being, they all have that point where they're like, this is enough. You know what I mean? So to write a book like that, it's not going to work. A person needs to get to that point. The only thing that I can do is tell them, this is what you're probably dealing with. Now you decide whether you can deal with it or not. And then you'll reach that point to say, it's enough. She left in 2 years. She was enough in 2 years. I got enough in 6 years. So every person, they've got that thing where it's like, I can handle this up to which point. You know what I mean? So the book I'm writing now, I'm writing with a guy. It's co-authored. And the reason I decided to do a co-authoring on the book is because I wrote this book. It's a female perspective. Already, they're like, she's a feminist, right? Yeah. So the book I'm writing now, it actually tackles why these behaviors are happening.
Yes. So I think the root cause, knowing the root cause becomes easier to deal with the symptoms, the bits and pieces of symptoms that you have.
Yeah.
You know, okay, the reason that you are like this is because of this, and I can deal with it in this perspective. Maybe we can have a narrative where we are both on the same page, and it's beneficial for us and for our relationship as well.
Yeah. So the reason, so that it's basically focused on that, and it's not going to be a book where you pick it up and you're thinking it's a book for women, because it's being written by a male and a title thereof, even a message and learn those lessons in order not to get here. Yeah. Or try.
So it's like a, not a marriage, but a relationship guideline from both sides.
It's a life guideline.
But I don't know if now that book will come from you. But a book similar to this one, but about women. because women can be toxic as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know?
I'm not gonna write it, I can tell you that.
Then you must find someone to write it for us, you know, because
Maybe I will one day.
maybe you should.
No, because I realize a lot of toxic women.
yeah,
There's a lot.
yeah.
There's a lot of women who have ruined their relationships. They've damaged men out there, and we don't talk about it. There's mothers that have damaged their own sons, and we don't talk about it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I think you write it. You write it. Yeah.
She was right.
You can also write it. We can co-write it.
Yeah, I will. Another question is it self-publishing?
I self-published.
Oh,
I self-published, but I was, you know, when you're a first-time author, nobody wants to take you on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I had to self-publish, and then what I was lucky with was that I put a good relationship with the CEO of Exclusive Books. So I managed to self-publish, and then he gave me a distributor. Yeah, and then I worked with that distributor, and then because I knew him, I was able to get into the Exclusive Bookstores as well.
Yeah.
So, but guys, it needs money. It's
Because
it needs you to market it. It's work. It's
Mm.
work. I'm not gonna lie to you. A lot of people come to me and they'll ask me, Peter, how did you manage to do it? Guys, basically, if you think how this finished product and you are done, it's a lie. It's a lie. It takes blood and sweat to get it out there. I won't lie. Because somebody will say, okay, I'll give you this opportunity, place that Exclusive Books, but make sure that it sells. That's what you said to me.
Yeah.
Make sure that it sells. If it doesn't sell, they get it out. You get your copies back. You know that.
Sure.
Yeah.
I was going to suggest for your next book, maybe get like 10 people. That's what I would like authors to start doing. Get random 10 people, maybe from a book club, and then give them the manuscript. Give them to read it, edit it for you, bring it back, because it's your book. You've edited it, and then certain mistakes you no longer see. But if you have 10 eyes,
Like sometimes when I read this book, I'm like, oh my gosh, the spelling.
The spelling.
Yes.
The grammar. So all of that. But now, God willing, like I say, it takes a lot of work. I want to. It's going to be launched in the US. Yeah, but it's going to be an international version. It's not going to be talking that's hairball.
Yeah.
We're going to put international names to it.
Andrew, James.
Hey?
Andrew and
James, yeah. So I've got an American publisher who's interested in it. So they are currently working on it to make it international.
That's nice. That's actually exciting.
This is not your only book, right?
It is.
Oh, is it? Okay, I thought I saw. Okay.
There's another Yende gentleman who writes books.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, but please do let us know of your next book.
Na kja mu stoka ko Instagram, so kitabo.
Yeah, also.
Yeah.
Okay,
But no,
I have a
I
question.
reviewed like the other day. I was like, even just first page in you. I'll tell you where.
You even know where.
Oh, guys.
I'm very passionate about that. That's why I'm suggesting.
No,
that, because
see, there's a lot of there's a lot.
I know, you know, I
It's
I
because we've
thought that
noticed
for South African
with
books.
with
And I
South
feel like
South African books.
a lot of
Isn't
South
it?
African
Okay,
authors
yeah.
make this mistake, not editing and not investing in editing. So I feel like after you've written a book, just give it to like 10 people. An honest person, I'm just
Like book reviewers.
Yeah.
People that
we
are
review
invested.
it. So we spot mistakes. You'll be amazed how a lot of people
Yeah, we'll see
know
differently.
grammar,
Yeah.
you know, and it will help you as an author to
I
give
agree.
a product that's like polished.
No, I totally agree.
Yeah.
No, I've heard in books a lot like this. But remember as well, especially with us Black authors, we are not given the same advantages like the wide authors. I'm self-published.
Yeah.
In that self-publishing, I'm paying editors, I'm paying this, I'm paying that, I'm paying that. So how editor I don't know, I'm gonna edit your book for 50,000 rand, I'm gonna edit your book for 10,000 rand. Obviously over 50,000 rand, she knows her worth.
Yeah.
And she's gonna give you a proper. But at that point in time, you're thinking as well, I need to get my book out, and you're gonna use an editor just to make sure the book. But usually the second, I don't know. Do you guys know Tagalani? She's quite a popular author. She writes novels. Yeah, like I know her books there probably because she's already at the point where now publishers be like, I want to take you on. So if Penguin wants to take me in, you won't find errors in my book. You can trust that.
This you talking about, that's another psychological topic. Are you coming from a psychological background or not?
No, I tried not to make it psychological. There were some references that I read when I was writing. In order for me to also put a character together, I had to somehow read some articles and all of that. But I wanted to be a personal story because now the moment I try to come from a psychological perspective, it's going to be like,
we've heard this before.
We've heard this before.
Okay,
so I tried it to make it, and remember when I was writing, I was specific. I wanted my market to be black. Otherwise, I could have used English names and all of that, right?
Yes.
And the moment I now approach, I wanted even a lady and she likes reading. Maybe she's a cleaner at work or something like that. If she is able to read, she can relate to the book. You know, but if I'm not going to come psychological terms, psychological thinking and all of that, it's not going to speak to you the way I've written it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because there are other chapters whereby you would mention that's another psychological topic.
On another, yes.
On another day.
Yeah.
Yes. So I wanted to understand, was this written on a psychological perspective or not?
It was written on a real life psychological
and like talking to people, not just only personal.
No.
Okay. No, thank you.
Thank you for that, actually, because you do resonate with the book much better than when it's on a
high level psychology thing.
Yeah.
You said 10.
No, I wanted to.
So we were able to. Well, I was able to resonate with the book much better in that way. So thank you for that.
2 minutes. Is it 2 minutes already?
Okay, your time is done.
My time is done.
No, she can ask.
No, actually you said, that's why I get a lot of things. I like the way you introduced yourself, you introduced the background of the book, you actually answered a lot of questions. For example, the high life. How do you know Jimmy your Maserati, you know, your Maserati, the Edgar, see, it's you know, like the Sun Deck restaurant. I feel like your book is more on a higher level, like on a higher class woman that is more experienced on a higher class.
Okay.
Yes.
I understand what you're saying.
Yes, because but it makes sense now when you say most of the things, not everything, some of the things are obviously you relate personally, and you obviously come from experience of knowing this, having the you know that
the interaction with those people.
With those people, yeah.
Fabi and I found
like the high, like you know, yeah. So, it's like there's a chapter where you mentioned like this restaurant, Egyptian carpets, like your Sunday. An average person doesn't know that place. You understand? An average person doesn't know that place, so they don't understand. They wouldn't relate to what you're talking about in terms of standard and class and levels. Understand? But it makes sense when you talk about.
I think I took it from maybe my own personal perspective.
Yeah, no. Yes. Yeah. Then we can't fault you on that. We really can't.
It's like you guys are asking such deep.
No,
but it's fine.
Any question is a good question.
Okay. If I were your little sister, after reading this book, and I come to you and I say, "Oh, Phindile, I am dating a Jimmy comes to Joburg. He's giving me these signs." Of course, you wouldn't say leave him, but what would you advise me to do? I think you even answered that question. Question number 2, you even answered, would you consider co-authoring with a male for a male perspective. So I think you answered that one already.
Yeah.
So if I were your sister,
Sorry. Okay, no, it's fine because with the book you're looking for, I have to put
aunt, and you also mentioned how you won't tell somebody to leave or to do whatever. But what would you suggest? I mean, what are the signs for us to say, oh yeah, okay, Jimmy comes to Joburg, but we can 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you know. So what would you?
You know, like I say, I would if my little story came to me and say, I'm dating and Jimmy comes to Joburg, for me is that would you want to handle it? You know what I mean? And when you know yourself what can you handle, you know, and ke tla mo bolella gore first of all when I Ruth o so le so o sho gore tlo khona so o mana go gae ke go itse, you know. And motho o wa gago o tlo pa background ya gage, eventually o tlo dira so wena ke go itse o le so le ka ke itse gore wa me o to handle this or ke itse gore it's ke mo go gae o na le pelo teng o tla khona go mo handle motho ona, o tla khona go mo ruta certain things because of how you approach things, because remember it's all about how you also speak to your partner. I get gore how it's gore he grew up without a father and there's certain things that he's lacking. Mosadi mong will bash those things, but Mosadi mong will come with empathy and love to say, baby, this is how we do things. You know what I mean? I grew up with mama and papa. You know what I mean? All those type of things. So it also depends on. You have to look at the entire background of who your little sister is and who that person that they are dating is, because now when I go Louis Vuitton. Now for me to turn off. The moment a guy comes to me with a Louis Vuitton bag, me too. It's like no. Forget about it. Turn off.
because it doesn't mean because you're sisters you are the same.
Same, exactly.
So would you also have the same approach with I get a makoti o tlang kwa lo e ba go botsa go
Bona so.
bonno go tsi wetsa o ka wena balela wetsa so unthusa yang a go tsagetse so, you know, as you know your brother.
No, I've got a good relationship with the girls that my brother has dated. If I don't meet a girl that my brother has dated, it means he already knows there's something wrong.
Yes.
Yeah.
So true.
So for me, for her to come, we have that relationship for me to tell her, that's how it is. And my mother is also very protective over him. So my mother one day you understand? So she must also be able to know that when I embrace Baba's mother, I'm embracing Baba as well.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Yes. And then I've also realized that the moment you also embrace those who are close to your partner, it's even much easier for your partner to love you. That's just how it is. You know, so that's how I would advise her if she says, "My Baba my mother is a very nice person. So the moment she realized that you are also into her son, she embraces you. So the moment to embrace her, that's how it is.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. No, but thank you. I really appreciate it. Thanks, Levels.
I appreciate it. You guys went and bought my book.
Yeah, no, I
It
really
means a lot.
appreciate
My
it.
book reached bestseller last year. But like I said, it's because of you have to put in work.
Another question.
I shop for book
No.
clubs. No, you know, but I'm really grateful, guys. You know, they say black people don't read international. With my book, I'll be like, sorry, I disagree because I can tell you read.
We read. This group reads.
Yeah. So.
To me, do you have a question?
Kenya the emotions, Kenya pride, Kenya all these other things that don't belong there. like choosing your partner needs you to have some sort of knowledge to be able to say, actually, this is what I want.
And also, can I just add it? Yeah. You need to know yourself. You need to know who you are, what you want before you can know what you deserve or what you can tolerate. Because I think that is some of your gifts. But that is some of the I can say a mistake that I made growing up. I didn't get to know myself and actually say, okay, you don't. I realized later on in my life, okay, but no, I don't like this.
This is not
I can't tolerate. I realized now, cheating is a deal breaker for me because I can't move past it. I've tried in my previous relationship. I tried, and but no, I can't. Like I can share one thing, and the cheating. Nothing else. Everything else about him, I'm fine.
So you don't see
like
the present, you are still there.
You can.
Normal.
Then you give the guy a child. Then you know
Yeah, I definitely went through that. And I'm so grateful. Guys, let me just give my friend some props. Paballo. What you were saying, as a woman, you don't have someone that you can talk to. But when I was in my situation, she's never judged me.
Yeah, Paballo is not like that.
She's never, that's one thing about Paballo, she's not judgmental. Like, she'll listen, maybe whatever but you know, she won't say it
out loud.
Maybe she'll just ask you, what do you want? So people like her, it helped me because then like it got to a point where and only now okay, I don't want this. This is not the life I want to live. Only then like okay, like it's okay. Let me just leave it. And we work support. Your family support goes a very long way. Me, my parents were like never come back home. Like you know?
There's a topic, I guess I hope chapter thing, but anyway, I was doing my own reviews on my WhatsApp status on a good read. It says about having low self-esteem. You know, when you have low self-esteem, you will tolerate all kinds of abuse. You understand? You will tolerate, like you don't know what you can take. You don't know you what you can tolerate and what you can't tolerate. You don't know how to tell a person to get off. You understand? I actually feel like more that abuse part. It's actually, you were saying more that topic, yeah. I can't remember which chapter it is, but you were saying some of them, they will stay in the name of kids. I feel that they actually don't even love their kids. They are lying to say they are staying in this marriage in the name of Bana. No, you don't. You're staying because Otaba Horebato Batari. You understand? It has a lot to do with a lot. There's nothing to do with the kids. It has a lot with low self-esteem and knowing your limits and your boundaries. That's just how I feel about tolerating certain things.
That's true.
Yeah.
Some other women as well. I mean, nah, guys, I left everything when I left my husband. Like, I left everything. You know, this for divorce. Hey, how is it?
It's fine. It's a mate. Thank you for that. Yes, fine.
So other women get another thing. I'm letting go of this house. You know, but like I also say, if speaking for this guy, then going back to 2-room, it's too much.
We cannot, yeah, we cannot.
It's also one of those things, but like you say, but what are you going to rely on?
Yo, guys,
can I just?
It's so nice.
It's better now. But I won't lie, it's divorce. It's painful when you start because you must remember. you had plans with this person, you have children with this person. So all those things that you have planned with this person, it's your life. You've planned your life with this person. You know, now the moment you are separated from each other, it means I'm starting from scratch now. You know, you need to now start making plans that do not concern him. You need to now start raising your children based on you as Phindile, how you were raised. It's no longer about how you and him were raised. You're gonna now do it this way. So it takes you back to how you were raised. So it's a lot of things. Sometimes you even lose friends, and you don't lose friends because they were bad to you. Sometimes you pull away because you just feel like I'm not part of this clique anymore because this clique, this clique, you know, so exactly, you know what I mean. You lose friends, and like I say, it's not because of them; it's because of what you're going through at that point. So it's a painful thing when you get out of it, but I think for me, why I also say is that it was sweet is because I didn't leave my marriage in a rush. I didn't hack up. Fuck, going. I did my therapy while I was still in the marriage. So psychologists, I think I went through over 3 psychologists at that time because psychologists look like he's walking all over you, madam, and then you know, and you don't want to be hearing all those things. So, and then eventually you get somebody who is actually sensitive towards the situation you're going through, and they are taking you through it. I mean, now my coach, she would even give me stuff to do during the week where I would have to jot down, this is what I'm happy about, this is what I'm happy about today. Even plan with my finances. You must know school fees. So I actually had to do proper planning, but you can never ever be fully prepared. That's true. Yes, you know, or spite you. Yes. So it's just one of those things. And then as time goes on, when you start getting to know yourself, being true to yourself, that's when you actually manage to not get yourself together.
Okay, I also can say something about it. It does get sweet if you're being true to yourself. It goes back to that. If you're being true to yourself, it gets sweet. Like baby mama drama. Or another person who beat her because maybe moto mobile on, and then there's another part whereby you actually happy with this lady took him. You know, like please, girl, stick with this man. Hold on to this man for my sake. It gets to that point. Please, girls, hold on to this. You know, yeah. She mentioned it in the book topic chapter thing, or like you like good reasons to bad rubbish. Yeah, well, understand that. My case was not even cheating. My husband, I won't lie, he was not a serial cheater. Okay. But it gets to a point where you like, girl, please keep him. Yeah, for my sake. For my sake, well, understand. So if you're true to yourself, it gets sweet.
And those who also leave marriages who are not true to themselves, separation anxiety. Yeah.
You guys.
Yeah, you had that. It's like, oh, I'm alone. Hi, baby, I love you.
Hey, you are so right. Babe, you go back there. Manga told me, but boy, why? I told you.
It's like,
This is a good juice.
Amen.